Hello and welcome back, everybody, to episode 2 of DK After Dark, telling you how the artists paved their path and helping you pave yours. Today, we have a very special guest on the episode. It's going to be Emilee Griffin coming all the way from Virginia Beach. Not in person, want to make her fly out to North Dakota, but welcome. And it's great to have you on here.
Hi, it's great to be here. Thank you.
So, like, kind of give us a little bit about yourself, like a little bit of your backstory, kind of, just who are you? What are you
Okay.
about?
So my name's Emily and I'm 22 years old. I've been singing for around I think since I was around 3 years old, I've been singing. Um, and ever since then, I've always been in love with music and my passion has just always been singing. I've always known this is what I've wanted to do. And in like school, I did talent shows and open mic nights and pageants. Um, I performed like the national anthem at football games. And now I just finished MI and I've learned so much in the past year, started my independent artist journey.
Okay, so like going back when you were, like super young, were you like, is your family like very musical at all? Were you kind of just like always in that, or like did you kind of like find something to bring you into that, or how did that work?
My dad, he was musical in that side of the family, like my aunt and my dad.
Mhm.
So he would sing and he would play guitar. And I remember growing up, we would like make recordings together.
Yep.
So there was this really bad microphone that was like a desktop microphone that my on this block computer.
Yep.
And we would just like sing Bon Jovi songs and make little recordings and or like I like to sing Disney songs and watch like the Disney movies, but
Okay.
yeah.
So it kind of just started, dad brought you into it, started
Yeah.
singing like that. So then as you kind of like transitioned like into middle school, were you starting to get like into music more and more? Like did you join like band, orchestra, or anything like that? Like in choir? Like,
Yes, I did chorus all through middle school.
okay. What part were you? Were you the high part, low part?
Oh no, I was an alto.
Alto?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. There
And
was times
then
where sorry, there was
no, no, you're
times
good.
I I wanted to be a tenor
Oh
because
yeah.
I was like struggling still, but my chorus teacher, she was like, "No, you're a girl." But so yeah, I was an alto.
I think I've heard that story more times than I can count. The classic, the alto wants to be the tenor.
hmm
Um, that was the entire, like, I mean, every single choir that I've ever been in, all the alto twos were like, I just don't get it. Come on, seriously, just let us sing the tenor part.
For real.
And I was like, hey guys, if you guys want to swap, I'll sing the alto part,
Yeah.
So then like did you do like because I know you said you did talent shows and stuff. Were there like any like jazz choirs or anything like that? Because like at my high school we had like some like jazz choirs that you could audition for. I don't know. Did you have like anything like that that you did?
hmm so we had district chorus and
Okay.
also state.
Ooh, okay.
I made district 2 years and then I made state my last year.
Okay. How was those experiences for you? Like,
Those were really cool. Like, because when you're just in middle school and people have to take an elective and they pick chorus, not
right,
everybody's into it,
right,
but like everybody at these choral events were into it and it
right.
sounded really cool. And we were able to do really interesting songs like that were pretty hard. So it
That's
was
like
fun.
I 100% understand like what you mean because I mean like you said, I mean, half the people take like choir just to get the easy credit, and then it's just like, kind of mess around. But for that, people who are actually trying to, be singing, it's not that great of an experience sometimes.
Yeah.
So then after kind of like as you went into high school, did you ever like have, any other kind of like plan or thought as like what you were gonna do career wise? Like, were you always leaning towards like doing music as your career or?
So I always knew this is what I was gonna do,
Mhm.
but of course, other people were like, maybe get a real job.
Right, right.
So my plan B is like film and cinema
Okay.
or like journalism type
Mhm.
stuff.
So
So I went to
basically,
school and I did that,
okay.
and I did some of that too.
So basically, like kind of anything. I like to like label it as like the creative content industry, like
Yeah.
kind of like anything in that space. I respect that because like I feel the same way. Honestly, I can't do like a I don't know working in a kind of normalish job, just like doing a boring, meaningless task every single day. Like it would just destroy me. Um, so like as you kind of were going throughout high school, like you were kind of like dabbling in like film, you're dabbling in like cinematography, as you were saying. And then like as you like get towards graduation, oh, I have to ask this actually. So before you like did you come to MI as like your first school or did you go to another school before MI or
So yes, I went to another school
Mhm,
for like a semester
mhm,
and then I dropped out
mhm.
because, well, it was during the pandemic.
Ooh,
Um,
yeah, that's rough.
all of my roommates moved out, so I
Mhm,
was like alone. And then I also just like mental health stuff, I kind of burnt out and
yep.
just I didn't want to be there anymore. It
Mhm,
wasn't my heart wasn't in it.
yep.
So,
Were you going to college at that point for
oh,
music or was it?
sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
What'd you say?
My gosh, I gotta clear my throat. Were you going at that time to college for music or was it for something else?
It was for film and
Okay,
cinematography.
okay. So you did. Oh, that would be so hard to do during COVID too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you started your first semester. You have to deal with all the COVID stuff as a film student, which, whew. And then, I mean, I totally understand that because I went through like a semester of being a computer scientist major before I was like, I cannot do this anymore. Like that's just insane. Um, but after you went through that experience, and then obviously did you take some time off before you decided to go back to school then?
Yes, I actually took about probably like 2.5 years off
Okay.
before I started at MI. Because I really needed to focus on my mental health. Like
Mhm.
it was all time low. I couldn't do anything.
Yep.
So that was my priority for a while. Just building myself back up and um getting myself to where I used to be.
I
Yeah.
think like one of one of the most like important things, and obviously like you can tell me how you feel about this too, but like especially for I think people that are like working by themselves so much, like like artists, like film people, like anything that's like that is like really is managing your mental health because like literally like if you don't have good mental health, you're honestly just not gonna be able to do anything, unfortunately. Like, and it's
Right.
just I think that it's very stigmatized, especially in like a lot of industries these days, to just kind of ignore it and that you're supposed to be like pushing on, but I don't think that really works. Like,
Yeah.
so
That just leads to burnout. That's what happened.
exactly. So were you working on like anything during that time or kind of just, just focusing on complete yourself and just kind of figuring out who you are and like figuring out what you wanted to do in your with like life in general?
So while I was there,
Mhm.
this was at JMU in Virginia.
Okay.
But while I was at JMU, I was still making like covers. I did a lot of covers during high school as
Hmm.
well. I would post them on like SoundCloud and my YouTube.
Yep.
Um, so I was still doing like covers here and there, but I also was auditioning for The Voice.
Okay.
So I did that and I actually made callbacks, which was super
Ooh.
exciting. But because of the whole COVID situation, mental health, it was finals week and
Hmm.
I had to turn in like three whole songs
Oh
and I got
God.
so stressed. I made myself sick and that was my shot. I blew it. So
Hey,
so I
don't
didn't I didn't make it a TV, but I made it a callback, so that was still cool.
that is pretty honestly crazy. And don't knock yourself. Like literally the thing is, as I always think about it as if it was meant to happen, it would have happened because like all the stars would have like aligned. Because honestly, you
Yeah.
could have went there and they could have just been like the worst people ever. And then that's like
Right.
ruins your whole
Yeah.
like taste on like being a musician in general, you know, like you don't want to
Hmm.
sour it, I feel like. But that is really, really cool. So like how tell me a little bit about the audition process for like that then and like what that was like.
So I had to send in, I think it was two covers. Actually, no. I did two different auditions. There was one which like was a live Zoom one,
Okay.
and then one was just a recorded video that I submitted like on YouTube and sent to them.
Okay.
Um, so I did both auditions. The live one, I didn't make it past that one, but the recorded one I did. And then I had to fill out like a bunch of paperwork about my story, and then I needed to do three live covers of like three whole songs
Oh my
to send
gosh.
it to the callbacks
Okay.
within a week. So
That
it
is a
was,
quick turnaround.
yeah. So I was like, I emailed them. I was like, please let me have time. Like, I'm sick. I'm in college, please. But it didn't work.
Oh man, especially having to do that during finals week. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Yeah, no, that is just like three the three things hitting at the same time.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
But I definitely believe that the right opportunity is just waiting for you.
Right. Hmm.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, like, because I see your sick tapestry in the background.
Oh,
Like,
thanks.
kind of like, I don't know, like in your journey, like kind of, you know, dealing with like your mental health or anything like that. Like if you had like because I kind of just like to, you know, give the audience a little bit of insight like into, you know, who you are as well as a person. So like I always ask people kind of like about their spirituality and stuff and like just kind of see what they think about that. So like did you have like any like journey like with like a spiritual journey as you were kind of like figuring out like yourself and like your mental health and stuff like that?
Yes, actually, that's like the whole reason I'm where I am today. That def I yes, I did have a spiritual journey, and it was just like this huge awakening. And it helped me get through my depression and um like get back on my feet and have something to believe in
Hmm.
that's like bigger than me,
Yeah.
and also just having that kind of like connection with like a higher power that you believe in. Like it just feels like you're not alone,
Hmm.
and I think that really helped me. um but yeah, spirit what you said spiritual journey and then like mental health stuff,
Yeah. So
I
like
think.
did you like I don't know, I'm not trying to like push too far or anything like that, but
No, you're
like
good.
if
I had something that I was gonna say, but I forgot.
if like kind of so like did you oh gosh, like I'm trying to think of like the right way to phrase this. Like did you like what did you start doing to like kind of like, you know, like reaffirm that connection, I guess, or like did you start like meditating or did you start like or,
Yeah. So, I think I really started with like journaling.
mhm,
I would just journal and kind of like I would just manifest and say some affirmations, try to be positive
yep,
because my mind was negative, like the lowest it's been for so long. Like I didn't really have any other option
yep,
but to like fake being happy.
yep,
And then it started working because then I was like fake being positive. So then I was positive.
yep. But then and I it's so crazy that you are saying this to me because literally um I can't remember if Gabby said like the exact same words to me as well, but like
Oh.
she she literally said because I'm like a big believer into like trying to pretty much like kind of put out what you're trying to receive back from like the
Yeah,
universe as a whole. So like I also like try not to be negative, but like I totally feel like when you get like when you're at that point, it's like, man, how do I not be negative at this point? Because like that's all I
right.
have going on inside my head. And like I think like like you said, like writing down your thoughts to be able to kind of just see that like maybe necessarily that not everything is like as bad as it seems because like you can kind of like actually see like I feel like and I don't know how you feel about this, but like when you're just sitting there kind of trying to think about things inside your own head, you're just on like can sometimes just only get on like a bad train of thought versus, thinking about the positive things in your life.
Hmm.
And also I have to ask like in terms of like journaling for you, like do you still like do that every day like for, like helping with like songwriting or like just to give like ideas just to like free your mind a little bit?
Yes, I do. I journal like all day, every day. I try not to do it all day, every day, but I love to write and
Hmm.
I love to organize my thoughts and make plans and schedule and color code things. So I make like a to-do list every night,
Hmm.
what I need to get done the next day, so I can try to stay on track. So I do definitely still journal, and I journal when I'm trying to write some lyrics.
Hmm.
If I am not having a great time in my head and I just need to write words, I try to do that and just let things come out. But yes, I love journaling.
I I think that everyone, if you don't keep a journal, highly recommend it. Highly
Yeah,
recommend it. Es-
definitely.
Especially as like people creating like music for sure. It's just weird. I think like when you put like when you just like start writing stuff down, I just feel like stuff comes out different than like otherwise. Like
Yeah.
even if you're typing on a keyboard, it's just not necessarily like the same. Um, so like kind of going in since we're already dabbling on this a little bit. So tell me a little bit like kind of your songwriting process and like how you go about that. Like what do you when you are kind of thinking about writing a song, do you usually start with like, a melody or do you start with like lyrics first, kind of come up with things after that, or like how do you go about it?
I usually start with lyrics.
Okay.
I think I write a lot more lyrics than I make melodies.
Mhm.
So usually I start with like some lyrics about a topic that I want to make a song about, and then I add instruments to it and like uh I kind of make the melody while I'm doing the instrumentation.
Yep.
I'm still not the best at melodies, but I'm still learning. Um
I wouldn't say that. You're pretty good at melodies,
well,
in my
they're
opinion.
tricky for me. I don't know. It's I get there, but it's just it takes forever.
Yeah, I definitely
But thank
understand that.
you. Yeah, but that's pretty much that's usually how I do it.
Okay.
Sometimes I do it with the instruments before,
Hmm.
um, but usually it's easier to do like lyrics, melody than instruments.
Okay. So then kind of like after you've got your lyrics, you've got your and as you're thinking about your melody, is it like you're basically kind of just are you adding in things that are just trying to convey the emotion of the song or like how do you go about kind of like instrumentation wise what you decide to put in the song?
Definitely instrumentation wise, I do it based off the lyrics
Hmm.
of the song. Um, well, actually, no, I don't know if that's really true because for dial tone, for example,
Yep.
the lyrics are pretty like depressing, but it sounds like happy. I think, no, okay, I'm taking that back. What I like to do is I like to make it complex,
Yeah.
where like I don't necessarily need the instruments to match the words.
Okay.
Like, I like the complexity of having like some more sad words, but more happy music. So then you're like feeling these mixed emotions because that's how I feel and that's
Hmm.
how I like my songs to come across as of right now.
That is
So,
really, really cool, honestly, how you phrase that. Because like
yeah.
it's so perfect because I feel like people kind of like nowadays I feel like you're forced to like pick a category and then like put yourself into that category versus like
Yeah.
just having to like be able to create your music and kind of let people decide that like yourself on yourself.
Hmm.
And the way that like you're mixing like because like you said like dial tone, which guys, if you have not checked out, you guys need to go check out. recent new single that dropped. Just want to say
Yeah.
that. Just want to say that. And we're gonna be talking about that a little bit later here as well. But like you were saying, it's like almost what's the word? Like it's super upbeat if you're just listening to like the background. And
Right.
then like as you start listening to the lyrics and digesting, it's like, okay, okay. And it's like, wow. Like you slowly like start to just get pulled more and more into the story and you realize like more and more what's going on.
Hmm.
And I think that's just like I think it's so cool. Like and
Yeah.
like the ability to blend those two things together and to like because you can I mean you can honestly you could be hype to the song if you want to be or if you
Yeah.
know if you really want to like get introspective you can be really introspective which I think is just like really beautiful about it like genuinely.
Yeah, I love the layers to it. I love
Hmm.
the layers that music has and like how you can literally create anything you want.
100%. And like the craziest thing too is I think um like discovering those layers is like the coolest part of having other people listen to your music because like obviously like and like how do you feel about this? Like do you like obviously you're putting a song out there with like a specific intention and it's like you're kind of what is it trying to like leave bits and crumbs for the people to pick up as like they're listening to the song. Um
Right.
I think that's just I think it's just such a beautiful thing, you know? Like it's so cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely I mean this is my first song, my first original song I've released.
Hmm.
Um so I really was not I did not know what to expect, but I really like how people are they're vibing to the music, but
Yep,
then they're also like, oh, I relate to those lyrics too.
exactly.
So I am getting a lot of support from that, and it's been really nice.
That's good to hear because, you know, we love when, you know, other artists, other people are supporting artists because, you know, we all need to be supportive. We don't
Yeah,
need to be mean about things to say it
right.
in a nice way. Um, but I oh gosh, what was I gonna say there? Oh, I lost my train of thought. But no, seriously, I think um it's so beautiful that like you have put this out here and are letting people discover it and kind of like leading into the next thing. So Emilee's actually going to be doing like an EP waterfall release. And so um Dial Tone is the first single out of the EP. And so why don't you tell us like a little bit kind of about the project and like kind of what you're trying to convey and like the thoughts that you've gone through in like creating it and you know going through it.
So it started about a year ago now, when I started at MI. Um, I started making like little beats for my logic classes and my songwriting classes and for like final projects, starting to like finish the songs.
Yep.
And while I was going through that, like I wrote Dial Tone like a year ago. So,
Okay.
um, while I was writing these songs is when I really started to get to a point in my life where I was understanding my mental health, and like what was going on in my brain. Is this a good time where I should talk about
Yeah.
that?
Hit it.
Okay. So around last year when this was all happening, I actually got diagnosed with ADHD, bipolar 2, and autism, which been affecting me my whole life, and I just didn't know what was wrong. It was just like misdiagnosed, really bad anxiety and depression.
Yep.
Um, so realizing that and also being at the point in my life where I'm finally at this dream school I've always wanted to go to, and I'm writing songs when I used to not know how. I wanted to be able to bring my life experience that I was going through at the time into this project of music. And at the time, I didn't know it was going to be a whole EP, but that's what it turned into. And what I So the EP is called Bittersweet,
Okay.
um,
That's a
which
really good name, I just have to say.
you. Thank you. It's based off of being bipolar and the ups and downs and everything like my life. Like I've had these good moments, but I've also had some really bad ones.
Right.
So it's bittersweet and this is just my life right now. And I love that I'll be able to have this like project as a like a point in time in my life to
Yep.
look back at. But definitely the songs, like dial tone, like I have the more depressing lyrics, but the more upbeat sound. And then
Right.
have like my next song is more like punky, kind of
Okay.
like mean. And then I have like a really sad one, and then one that's more about like depression. And like I have these really serious topics.
Yep.
And I kind of the way that the EP is laid out is like ups and downs.
Right.
So hopefully the listener can go through kind of like my thought process and like
Hmm.
how I feel.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm gonna be doing a waterfall release because this is my first like time dropping music.
Right.
I've I've heard it's best to do that because then you can like capitalize off of each single the
Right.
most you can, or not capitalize. What is the word?
I think that's honestly, I think that's good. Yeah, I
Is that
think
the
that
word?
works. Yeah, I
Okay.
think that works. Because,
Yeah, just so you can like get as much out of it as you can and try to continue growing and like building your my social media platforms and my fan base and just like supporters that I have because my fan base is like my family right now. But yeah, so just I'm excited to drop it.
I mean, we all have to start, originally with it's pretty much like that for all of us. I mean, unless you're gonna buy your followers like Travis Scott did. But I think that that is so cool. Like as you were explaining it to me, like especially with like the emotions going up and down throughout like the EP, that is so sick. Like actually so cool. Um,
Thank you.
so whoa, I don't know what just happened to my thing. Oh, there we go. So before like I'm gonna ask you this other question. I want to say that so Emilee said, and hopefully, obviously, it kind of depends on the distributor because we totally don't have it in our hands, obviously, but the next single in the EP release is going to be dropping around July 5th, hopefully on July 5th. So be looking out for that on your socials and everything like that. And I'll put that in the description as well, and I'll be linking that. So
Yeah, it's called Know It, and
know
it's
it.
yep, Know It.
That's a really cool name too.
And it's the orange song.
The
So like
orange song.
dial tone was red. Oh,
Okay.
I didn't even tell you about like my colors and everything.
Well, geez, now you gotta tell me.
It's there's so many layers to it, I'm
Okay.
telling you. Okay, so another thing about the EP is that because I think because of the autism, really, I just love to color code things.
Okay.
That's honestly what it probably is. But like organizing and color coding, that's what I did. I basically put all of my mental, I put my whole brain into this EP. Like
Okay.
if you were to listen to this EP, you're in my brain.
Okay.
So then I have to also bring that out like physically as well into
Right.
what you see and
Hmm.
like my content and music videos and my brand. Like so I have 7 songs. So I have one every color of the rainbow.
Okay.
So
That's
that
really
one was
cool.
red, and then my next one will be orange, and then so on. And it's like, because every month is when a new song drops.
Right.
Um, the theme is like, for Dial Tone, for example, is red and black because the EP is black, but each song has its own color.
Okay.
So eventually, with the whole drop, I wanted to have it color coded and have my brand. Like I wanted to make my own universe in this music. I
Okay.
wanted it to be its own visual like world.
That is so sick. Like literally so cool. Because I can kind of like I'm like picturing it in my head, is you
Yes.
though. That's actually insane. Okay, so before we got cut off very rudely by Zoom, um, so that the colors is so cool. Like that's actually
Thank
so
you.
sick. Um,
I have a vision board. Do you want to see it?
oh please. Oh my gosh. Wiping out
You
the
want to?
Yes, please. Yes.
I'm gonna see if I can get my light over here. So this is
Wow.
that's the EP. I have like my music video stuff and my makeup and my hair outfits.
That is so cool.
And
So
then I
you're
also have like a acoustic EP I'm planning afterwards. But
so
that's a long time from now.
so I have to ask because I just saw recently this like really reminds me of Inside Out, like because I
Oh
just
yeah.
saw Inside Out too. So
Yes.
like it's like literally you're bringing like the emotions that you're personifying in the song like physically to life like with the colors, which I think is just like so cool. So like
Yeah.
because you were talking about doing like a merch release, so like kind of like what are you looking at like doing for that? Like are you looking at doing like I don't know, like obviously different colors, but like
Yeah, I plan on I made some dial tone merch and it's like the single cover
mhm.
and then I have like dial tone in red on the sleeve and like my logo in red and then I have some other like bags that are just like dial tone with red and black.
Okay,
So, yeah.
that's super sick.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So
be updating like the merch and the my brand colors and my website colors and everything with each release.
so like literally every single release is basically gonna go like, okay, boom, red to your next color, and then to your next
Yeah.
color, to your next color, over and over. That's so
Yep.
cool
Mhm.
because, and I think, I mean, you can probably attest to this as well, but being consistent with your branding as an artist is just like so important because, I
Mhm.
mean, obviously you can change up what you look like that's not the problem as long as like, like how you're doing it fits your overall brand because, if you're doing a bunch of like crazy things all over the place. No one's gonna know what's going on with you.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that's like perfect for like letting people in and like engaging them. That's just such a cool idea. Like such a cool
I
idea.
love how you compared it to Inside Out. That is so funny.
That's like the first thing, like when you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, I
That makes
gotta see
so
that.
much sense. It does. It's like it's a little bit of like synesthesia, I think, with because each song like I connected the color with the emotion.
Right.
So like yeah, those are how my emotions are in colors, I guess. So
That's
that's
so
cool.
cool. And
Yeah.
I think like especially like dealing with, being like a neurodivergent person, like being able to know like and classify them in that way, like I feel like helps in digesting your
Yes,
emotions. Because
it
like
does.
I don't like think of like I haven't thought of it like my emotions as colors, but I've definitely like put them in the categories and been like, okay, so this is this what just to like help me like kind of go through it and everything like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
obviously another thing we haven't actually touched on this at all. So obviously, I want to say I met Emilee when we were going to school together at the Musicians Institute. So tell
Yeah.
me a little bit, kind of like what brought you to the Musicians Institute and like made you kind of because obviously like you took the break and you were kind of, making some covers and stuff. So what really made like you want to make music for yourself, I would say, and like really like brought you back into that?
hmm Um, so I had always wanted to make music
Right.
and I just couldn't figure out how.
Yep.
So I think when I was in high school, I had like Googled like colleges for songwriting
Yep.
and I came up. So when I was a junior, I went out there and I saw it. And I was on campus and it was like perfect. And I was
Yep.
like, okay, I'm definitely going here one day. Um, So then years later, um, when I was like still recovering from my burnout and I was like unemployed and really depressed and it was just bad, I had this like realization. I was watching TV and it was like this realization of somebody on the TV was going to college or something,
Yep.
and it just hit my brain. I was like, "Oh my gosh, am I? I can still go there."
Yep.
And since that day, that was the beginning of my spiritual journey.
Yep.
That was the beginning of my music journey, my mental my like what's the word? What am I trying to say? Self-healing journey.
Yep.
That was the beginning for a lot of stuff. And once I finally was able to start at MI, it was a game changer. And it's definitely like completely shifted my whole life
Right.
just a year later.
It is, I can honestly attest to that. It is seriously like insane. Like
Yes.
just like
Like there's so much knowledge that we're
mhm.
just given like from these professional industry people. Like it's I don't know, it's such a crazy source to like what I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's a
It,
crazy,
like pool of knowledge to like you draw from or like well of
yeah.
experience, I'd say.
It's
Like
it's an amazing school. It's
seriously.
the opportunities and everything that there is to offer. Like it's crazy, and
So
I'm excited to like I'm moving out on campus
ooh.
on in January, so I'm excited to be on campus.
So the I've that so you started online and you've been doing that for a couple semesters. So are you because you just graduated from like the certification program, right?
Yes,
So then are you going down there for another program then?
yes, I'm gonna do the next one up. I think it's called is it AEP, APE?
Yep.
Yeah, that
Yep.
one.
I'm honestly I'm so tempted to go down there as well because I have been like I started as well um on just like the in the I can't remember if it's just independent artist or how they do the certificates, but I started with like the 2 semester one too.
hmm
And then I was like, no, I need that. Like I need more. And it has been like made me really want to go down there on campus, to say the
Yeah,
least. Cause
yeah,
like
it's really cool.
cause like it's been great like getting to know everyone online. But
Mm.
I feel like and I like please let me know how you feel about this too, because like but it has been so hard to make connections with people like being online
Yeah.
versus like being able to see them in person. Which
Yes, I definitely feel like very isolated because I'm doing all of this stuff in my room. And
yeah,
I have like two friends
yep,
and I live with my mom still and
yep.
I'm getting ready to move, but like just doing everything like on your own online, it's a little bit like sad a little bit
It
because
is.
you don't have like your friend, you're not really making these friends or connections,
Right.
but at the same time you have all this time to like work on your craft
Hmm.
by yourself and also you know what? Sorry, I just remembered I did
Now
not
you're
take my
good.
ADHD medicine and that's what it is. I just remembered that's what it is. Oh
No,
man.
me too. I also did not take mine today, and I have been off my game low key, going all
Yeah,
over the
me
place
too.
sometimes.
You can totally hear my brain just trailing off like, what were you talking about again?
I would never judge though, because literally, like because I recently like just started taking ADHD medication, which okay, hang on. This is like a total like side note, but I just have to say this because like I don't know how you feel about this too,
Mm,
but for anyone that has ADHD seriously and has been debating whether they should try medication or not, um, I'm just gonna say my entire life I've been so against like being medicated, like always. Until I actually tried it, and then I was like, my entire life I've been playing on hard mode, and now it's
oh my God.
like I don't know how you feel about that, but it's like literally like
Yeah.
playing
So
on.
I've been like I've been medicated basically my whole life for like
Okay.
anxiety.
Okay.
Um, Now I'm on like 5 or 6 different things, but the ADHD specifically, it's crazy because to me, I like could think better,
Right.
but I was like, there isn't a huge difference. And
Right.
then it wear off, and I was like, holy crap,
Yep.
my brain is crazy.
Literally.
It was like it was night and day difference. It was so weird.
That's exactly because I think the first day I took it, I kind of like just felt like weird. I felt like I was underwater, if that makes
Oh,
sense. And,
yeah.
and then after that, like every other day, I was like, I don't know if this is making that much of a difference. But then I didn't take it the next day.
Hmm.
And then like when I really noticed it is when I was like trying to go to bed and like my brain was just like nonstop, like going insane, like just constant thoughts running through my head. And I was like, all
Same.
right, I think it is making a difference because
Yeah.
I mean, even to like you said, like because I would just be, I mean, what I would always say is I can do 10 things all at the same time, but I won't finish any single one of them.
Yes, that is a big problem. That's
But like as I actually finally started taking my meds, I was like, okay, I can actually kind of start to finish stuff.
right. And that's so nice. It's so nice to like feel like accomplished when you finally get stuff done. Like my goals have been trying to build a consistent routine every day
Right.
because that I mean that helps with ADHD, but just getting like the basics done, like working on my music every day, working on
Yep.
content every day,
Yep.
just like getting bits and pieces done. I've noticed if you do little bits every day, it really adds up. And
Okay.
I used to think that I had to just do it all at once or it didn't count or it
Yeah.
didn't matter or it wasn't good enough. But really like taking the time to slow down and being okay with just working on little things at a time and taking the time you need like makes a huge difference and it's helped me a lot and I've gotten so much done.
So like kind of like do you use any scheduling apps or anything to help you like stay consistent or do you just kind of do it in like Google Calendars or like how do you
So
go about that?
I like make my own stuff in my journal.
Okay.
Like I'll make calendars and planners and lists. Like I do all kinds of stuff in
Oh
there.
my gosh. I wish I could be that organized. Seriously.
Yeah, I don't know how else to do it. Like I don't know how people can do things without like writing it down. Like don't forget to do this and this. Like how do you remember
Honestly,
all that stuff?
I don't think they do. That's like, because I mean, I know if I don't write it down, I'm not remembering it.
Right.
So, especially like the ADHD brain, like if it's not like directly in front of me, I'm not gonna think about it either. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Or if something's like in the same place for too long, it's just part of that area now and you don't see it
Exactly.
anymore. I hate that
Exactly.
part.
Yep. It's like, all right, I gotta reorganize my whole desk. Just start sliding everything
Yep.
over so I can
Yeah.
rediscover what's there.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. So talking like a little bit about like your social media, because honestly, like it is very impressive how
Really?
on you have been like with your social media and consistency and like the
Oh,
different content that you have in your posts. Cause like literally, like I obviously like scrolling through my Instagram every day and I'm like, okay, that's something new. I was like, wow, this is every single day. It's like every single thing is different. So like what kind of like what process do you go about and like kind of like thinking about what content you're gonna produce for like that week? Do you plan out like kind of like months in advance or do you do like more like a week or two in advance or how do you go about that?
so I'm still working on like getting my content game consistent,
Right.
but I do plan out like a month's worth of content at a time.
Okay.
I want to do at like a month and a weekish amount of content per song.
Okay.
So I do a lot of scrolling and get a lot of inspiration and take inspiration off what's working right now, what's new, what are people liking. And I try to make that into my own version and then also add my branding on top of it, like the colors. Um, but when it comes to like these different ideas, a lot of the like for example, I think maybe what you're talking about is like my behind the scenes type of stuff, like the
Right.
production and recording. Like that stuff, I kind of was just like, I mean, how do you break down a song? How can I break down this song into as many pieces of content as I can? So I'm like, how can I make this song into how can I break this song down as much as I can? So I'm
Right.
like, okay, then I can go over the lyrics, I can go over the production, as in like how I did it. I can
Hmm.
go into why I used the instruments I did. I can do um behind the scenes of my music video. Like I pretty much just trying to think of how you can break it down as much as you can to like squeeze every drop out of it.
That's such
And
a good,
that's like that's how I try to plan it.
okay. That's such a good like phrase to use, honestly, because like feel I just have issues myself in like coming up kind of like what I'm gonna do. So like where do you kind of like to browse through to like find like content ideas? Like do you go through kind of just TikTok and just see, because I know you said you kind of just go through like kind of what's trending, but like do you usually look in like
Yeah.
a specific place or
Usually just TikTok, like my For You page is full of artists promoting their music and stuff just
yep.
because that's what I like to watch. Get a lot of inspiration.
Yep.
But also like if I find an artist who's a little bit similar to me and they're like on the come up, they're posting social media or they're posting content like consistently, I'll look at their profile and not copy them, but take inspiration from them and be
Right.
like, oh, well, this video is good and this one got a lot of engagement. I can do something like that. So definitely just mainly TikTok. Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, to be fair, I don't think there's like necessarily a better place to go for,
Right.
looking at that kind of stuff than TikTok. And that's like I've honestly been lacking because I am never on TikTok. The short form content like destroys my brain.
Yeah. Yeah, it could get pretty bad, but yeah.
It's just attention wise, like watching it, it just like ruins me for the
Yeah.
day.
Then you get stuck.
No, seriously. So
Yeah.
kind of what, I guess like what was your, I don't know, like I don't know if inspiration is necessarily the right word, but like kind of what led you to like leaning into like more of like a synth pop vibe versus like, like anything else. Like you just kind of like
Um,
feel,
so when I was doing like the production for my songs,
yep.
those are just the instruments that I went for.
Hmm.
Those are just what I liked. And then after the fact, after I like made all 7 songs, then I realized like, oh, I think this is synth pop. I didn't really like do it thinking of what it was. It just kind of turned into that because I that's what I like how it sounds.
Okay. That
Yeah.
I just had to ask because like some people like they go into like a song and they're like I'm making a rock song or they're like I'm
Yeah.
making this song and I've I don't know, I've never really approached music that way, so I just kind of like to see like everyone's opinion on that. um
Yeah.
so obviously with like your EP you have like a whole like you've got that all planned out and everything, so when you're going into like kind of like writing a song like and trying to convey like what you're saying, like do you ever go through and like write the song and then like rewrite over and over and over to like try and get like more and more um I guess of the feeling into it, or like how do you go and making sure that like you're kind of like giving them that emotion, if that makes sense?
hmm Um, I'm gonna be honest, usually I kind of just one and done my lyrics.
That's
Like
honestly fair.
I might change a couple different words here and there if they don't sound the best, but usually like I write in my journal like it's a diary
Hmm.
and then I rhyme the words and make lyrics out of it. So
I
usually
honestly
ready
understand that.
pretty deep.
So it's basically just starts flowing, and once it comes, it starts just going.
Yeah, whatever emotion comes out, that's the emotion I want to convey.
Okay. Okay. That's super sick. And then so we talked a little bit kind of like last episode about, just in general, like getting your songs like out places and like what that kind of looks like. So, I just like to ask everyone, kind of what distro do you use? Like walk us through like a little bit of the process of like releasing a song for you and kind of like what that looks like for your
Okay.
specific like how you would promote it and stuff like that.
So specifically just like getting the song out or like everything that goes into the song,
Yeah,
like
kind of
music.
like anything like, like how you kind of like are planning out like when you're gonna release it, like what you're gonna release around it to like build up hype for it, and then like,
Okay.
like actually going and like releasing it and like how you would do that.
Yeah. So once I have a song that's finished, um, I plan like well for the EP, I plan the colors and the music video, like my outfits I'm gonna wear, my makeup, like I
Hmm.
plan it all out. Um, and then I do my music video. I got all of my equipment. I have like a huge backdrop with lights, and it costs a lot of money.
I saw that on your TikTok just as like a quick like interjection, and I thought I was like, that is so sick because literally I've got like a jury rigged one with mine's like on like a shower curtain on
Yeah.
rails.
Yeah, it definitely costs a lot, but I it was like on my Christmas wish list, so a lot
Oh
of people
heck
helped me out
yeah.
with it. But yeah, so once the music's done, I make a music video. I also create a lyric video, and then I start working on content, whether that's like filming, um, making content out of like picture carousels or editing content, scheduling it. A lot of the time I schedule my content like for it to post automatically so I can stay consistent.
Okay.
Um, so that's been very helpful with consistency. But
So
what
usually like when
oh, and
you
then sorry.
no, you're good, you're good.
I'm trying to answer your question. The distro kid. Okay. So usually while I'm making my content is when
Okay.
I give it to DistroKid to get it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then because I don't remember because I know there's like a couple different like that so you just uploaded it and then they tell you when they're gonna release it, or how does that work?
So you give them the date you want it out,
Uh-huh.
and basically they're gonna put it out at that date. I mean, if it's like within 2 weeks, it's cutting it close,
Yeah.
or a week or something. But yeah, you pretty much just tell them when you want it out, and they just put it out.
Okay. Sick. Because I know there's like some weird there was a weird thing for a while where like you couldn't pick your dates on like certain plans or something like that. So I just
Really?
like yeah, it was like it used to be like if you were had the basic plan, you couldn't choose when you release your songs. Like it would just like you would upload it and then they said it would be like anytime within 4 weeks that they put it up.
That's weird. No, I
Yeah,
didn't. Yeah, I didn't see that.
it was yeah, so that's why I was like asking because I don't know, it's just a weird quirk. But
Yeah.
so like then when you're like scheduling your content and stuff for your so do you film everything on like one day so you're just done and then you have it all scheduled?
I wish. I wish I could do that. It takes me, like I said, I'm still working on like getting my content consistent, like being like I want to be able to do like one day film like 3 to 5 videos, the
Right,
next day edit those videos, the next day like caption them and schedule them, and then do it over again, start filming again.
right.
So I have like a week's worth of videos at a time until I finish the month. That's like the goal.
That would honestly, yeah, because especially, I mean, if you do that, then you don't necessarily have to like worry about putting out the content. And, I
Mhm.
think it just helps with the consistency as well. Which, like,
Yes.
I think, and this kind of goes into like way back where we kind of touch on like being like independent people, kind of like very, I mean, when you're making music, you're kind of like in your own world because you just have to be. Um,
Mhm.
and it can be very isolating. And I think that consistency in any aspect of your music creation journey, whether that's the writing part, the recording, actual production, putting out content for your stuff is like one of the most important pieces. Um,
Um,
because I mean, I don't know how I feel about
that's
this.
how you like get your music out there
Right,
nowadays.
exactly. Especially because I think that what like starts setting you apart is like the artists that do stay consistent. Like even in the beginning, like when it's hard to like gain traction because like the beginning is the
Yeah.
hardest part.
I'm definitely in that boat right now. I'm like, nobody likes my content. I'm like, what can I do better? Like, I feel like I'm trying to not get discouraged because of views or low engagement because I know consistency is key
Right,
and it's hard, but like if it wasn't hard, everybody would do it.
exactly.
So,
I think that it is really difficult honestly because like you're putting so much time into what you're doing and then like
yeah.
when you don't get
And then you get like two likes.
right, like when you don't get the response that you're hoping for, it definitely can like not feel
Yeah.
great. But I think
Yeah.
I think like what when you kind of have that like experience and like feeling like that, like kind of what do you do to like bring yourself out of that? Like do you just like take a deep breath, kind of take a step back from the situation and like look at it or
Yeah, I try not to think about it too much. And I just tell myself like I can always try again tomorrow. I can always look at what I've posted, see what's done good and like evaluate it and then take what I've learned and try to be better.
right. Okay.
I'm
That's
always trying to improve my quality.
that's really all you can do, I guess, right?
Yeah.
You just have to take everything as a lesson in that like even if you're necessarily I don't even want to say failing because like not it's not failing. It's just like if you're not getting what you want out of it, it's definitely a learning experience to bring you to the next thing, you know?
Yeah.
Being isolated as an artist is just like it's very challenging because you do spend like you can really get I think stuck inside your own head, especially because like you're kind of I mean like obviously when you're writing, you're telling people like the emotions that you're feeling. So
Yeah.
like when you're doing that over and over, obviously you can get very stuck in that, especially if you don't have like anyone around you to like necessarily bring you out of that or talk to.
Hmm.
Um, so I think that, everyone should just try and find like someone to talk to or like when they're really, like if you're spending a lot of time alone by yourself. I think that you should definitely just make it a point to go and have like a little bit of interaction with someone just to not you don't even necessarily have to do anything, just to just stop thinking
Yeah.
completely and just give yourself a little bit of a break because I don't think that some artists do that enough. They just like will sit too much in their emotions and then when you do that, that's when you can really get dragged down into it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great to have a support system.
100%. Obviously, talked about it a little bit in the beginning, but so Emily did just release Dial Tone.
Yes.
And you want to like take us a little, I think I can't remember. Did we talk about in the beginning like a little? Yeah,
I
we
don't
did.
did we?
I don't remember.
I don't think we really did. We were like, we started talking about it a little bit, and you're like, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
but
right. You're right. So tell me like a little bit like about your process and like the creation, like because obviously this is your debut single. So like this is like
yeah,
the introduction to you.
I know, right? It's crazy. Um, yeah, so the whole song is pretty much about falling into depressive episodes, ghosting people, kind of isolating myself when I get sad. Um, so I started the song off with like, you stopped by my house, but I wasn't there. as in you're trying to talk to me, but like there's nothing in my head right now. Like I'm gone.
Yep.
You can't reach me. Um, and just talking about trying to get out of it, but at the same time you're pretty comfortable there and it's easier than trying to push yourself out, trying to make yourself happier and
Hmm.
just finding comfort in your sadness, I think
Okay.
that's
That's honestly such a good message, though, seriously.
yeah. And like the end, it's like or the end of the what is it? The end of the chorus. You can no, end of the bridge, sorry. You can try to pull me out, but I'm fine here for now. Like again, saying like maybe I don't want help. Maybe I
Right.
just want to be sad and lonely and just leave me alone.
Exactly. I mean, the thing is especially like when you're dealing with like an emotion so complex as like that,
Hmm.
there are those times where it's like, maybe I actually just need to, well, not need to, but just like don't want to be out of the, current headspace, I guess that I'm in. Like I need to
Yeah.
experience it to actually process it and not just like
Right. You don't want to push it down.
exactly, yeah. And I
Yeah.
think I think it's I think it's worse, honestly, to do that than it is to actually go through it and make yourself feel worse in the moment, I'd say. And then like
Yeah. I mean, as
process
long
it.
as you're not like staying there forever.
Right, right,
'Cause that's
exactly.
where that's where I was for a while. And
Hmm.
that's kind of why I wrote it because I was like, I'm gonna stay here. Um, but definitely like once you accept the fact that you have to help yourself in order to get better,
Right.
then that's when you, I think, start making those changes and you try to be more positive and help yourself.
That's such a good message. That's seriously beautiful. I'm not gonna lie.
And I think like the instrumentation and like the production for Dial Tone,
Hmm.
it it is more upbeat, and I think that also represents like how the world wants to view you as
Right,
like you have to wake up and you have to go to work and you have to do this and you have to look like this and you have to like all of these things that are these societal standards that most people can't even keep up with.
right.
Uh, So like I have another line like we work all the time, but that's not why we were designed. Like so this upbeat music that goes along with the sad lyrics also has to do with like acting fine
Right.
when you're in front of people and then being depressed when you're alone again. So
Oh
yeah,
man,
that is dial tone.
that's so good. So guys, go listen to Dial Tone. It's out now. Next song is gonna be coming out on July 5th. And then keep a lookout as the songs keep dropping in the waterfall release. It's gonna be, you said, like about a month and a week apart between each,
Yeah.
like roughly. So
Yeah.
kind of just be watching in like every like five-ish weeks, five-ish, six-ish weeks on Emilee's socials um for the new songs that are coming out.
Yep.
Otherwise, Emilee, is there anything else that you wanted to tell the audience before we leave? Any advice that you wanted to give them or anything like that?
Um, I have a good quote.
Oh, hit me.
Okay. Okay. This was my yearbook quote
Okay.
twice for high school and for MI. Um, hold on, what is it? Oh, okay, ready? Work in silence and let success be your noise by Frank Ocean.
I love that quote.
I love that quote too. That's like the quote that I live by.
And that is honestly like so beautiful. I love Frank Ocean. Seriously.
Yes.
That is a great note to end the episode on.
Yes.
Thank you guys for listening. Um, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for coming to DK After Dark, where we help you learn a little bit more about the artist and help you pave your path in your artistry. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.